Hello YouTube, welcome back to Assetto Corsa, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Porsche 911R. Now, one thing I've noticed about Porsche after all this testing is that when you say 911, that can mean anything. Basically 911 just means it's that body style, you know, rear engine, actually I was going to say rear engine rear-wheel drive, but that's not necessarily the case because you do get four-wheel drive 911s now, and of course there is the 911 RSR coming out, at least in Assetto Corsa. It's already out, I believe, in real life, which is another race car which has a mid-engine, which means that what I was about to say is a load of complete tosh. What I mean is that it looks like that. You know, what you're seeing, that's what it looks like, a 911. Apart from that, everything about it can be different, varying in 911 models. So, what's a 911? Nobody knows anymore. Anyway, I'm going to be taking a look at this, the GT3 R, which is basically, I believe, the GT3 vehicle of this car. So it's the race car. But again, I can't be sure. There's a GT3, there's a GT3 RS, there's a GT3 R, there's the 911 RSR, which I don't know, I guess that's an endurance one. There's the GT3 Cup, I don't know. There's just so many. Anyway, going straight into this is a 4-litre flat 6 engine, of course, rear-wheel drive, as per GT3 regulations. It produces 500 horsepower at 8,250 RPM, and something along the lines of a torque figure that I have forgotten because it's not actually stated. I was working it out. Let me see if I can remember this torque figure. It was it 475 newton meters of torque? Or maybe 575 newton meters torque. Anyway, torque figure is not really important because I don't know, and it's not really supplied anywhere. I just seem to have to work it out from the graphs at around 6,500 RPM. So, yeah. I don't know why they don't supply torque figures. I suppose because you can change it around as you start messing around with the car. You know, the torque figures must change around a little bit according to the gearing. 1,200 kilos or thereabouts. I think maybe 1,220 kilos. Of course, it does depend. You can change ballast on this car and stuff like that in real life. So, you know, there's different things that you can put on to this car. But it is a race car. It is a GT3 car, and it is my first time in driving this car, which means you're going to see some pretty bad driving. Well, actually, I'm not going to say bad driving. I'm going to say driving that's not brilliant. I make mistakes, and to be honest, I'm going to get on to more about how this car feels in a bit, but I wasn't entirely impressed with this car, which is I suppose is saying something. I wasn't entirely impressed with the car. Anyway, more specs about the car. Direct injection, dry sump. Its final drive ratio is gives you a 2.4 final drive, which I'm sure some of you are going, oh, well, this information doesn't mean anything to us. This isn't anything about the car. Lightweight body, maybe that would mean something, so that's how they keep the weight down on this. Obviously, because of the FIA regulations, you've got yourself a welded roll cage. You've got a lot of intakes in that are taken from the other racing Porsche, so you'll see signs of this being related to the GT3 RS. You'll see signs of, when we do check out the 911 RSR, you'll see relation to that car as well. It's got a lot of adjustable things, adjustable rear wing. I think you've got a number of things that you can adjust, obviously suspension and all of that, as you'd get. A lot of carbon fiber all around to keep the weight down naturally. This is all very, very important for the car. It comes with 18-inch alloy wheels as well, and a 120-litre fuel tank, which should be good for quite a few laps of racing. I mean, I think I did, what is this, 7 laps? I think it says up there 7 laps, and I think I had 24 litres of fuel there, and I don't think I used, or 30 litres of fuel, and I don't think I used anymore. I think it was 24, and I could have done 10 laps on it. So there you go. You know, you could probably get yourself a good 50 laps of racing or thereabouts, depending on how hard you're pushing the car. you could get about 40-50 laps of racing in it before you need to pit stop. So for those of you who are endurance racers, there you go. There's some information that you will find quite helpful. Of course, it has ABS and traction control and all that kind of stuff. Naturally, as you get in these cars, it's very, very simple. You have to have that because of what you get, because of what the car is designed to do. Anything else about the car? Well, the boxer engine, which is of course rear mounted in this car, is water cooled. It does come with a 6-speed paddle shift sequential gearbox plus reverse, of course, and it has some pretty strong brakes, 6-piston brakes at the front and 4-piston brakes at the back, both aluminium, or for those of you in America, aluminum. I don't know why you call it aluminum. Maybe you spell it differently. I really don't know. It's aluminium or aluminium. Anyway, so 0 to 60 is approximately about 4.5 seconds. Obviously gearing changes that, and it does have a top speed of approximately, again with gearing changing, it does have approximately a top speed of 186 miles an hour or thereabouts. So there you go, there are some specs, or that's the best specs that I can find. Let's move on to the car in Assetto Corsa. Modelling, again, looks absolutely fine. Looks just like the real car, and as you can see, I am being chased down by another Porsche. I just could not get to grips with this car, and I'll explain why soon. But the modelling looks absolutely fine. Big rear wing, looks like a GT3 car. You've got the air intakes. You can see things inside and outside. Looks good. You've got the roll cage, even the welding. It looks like you've got the actual welds on and stuff like that. Not a problem. I'm actually quite pleased with the modelling once again. Texturing. Now, in all of the Porsches, I've said, yes, the texturing is awesome, the texturing is really good, all that kind of stuff. Well, inside, the texturing is quite nice. I love this display. I think it's a Cosworth display, which is different to what we get on the McLarens and stuff. And I like this one more. I'll be honest, I do like this one more. But I think the McLarens and that have a Bosch display, don't they? So I do like this Cosworth one more, and now I've been overtaken because I messed up. That guy lost control slightly, but he managed to regain it because he is AI. So, there you go. The texturing is quite nice inside. However, outside, I found that the texturing is kind of low resolution, and I didn't like that. And when I mean low resolution, I mean I zoomed in on this car, and it's actually blurry. Like it's got the you got the Michelin tires. Well, the actual Michelin logo on the back of the car, I think is it on the rear wing? Well, I don't mean rear wing as in the rear spoiler wing. The spoiler wing, that's just stupid. That's engineer me is ashamed of myself for saying that. I meant the rear wheel arch and that area. That's what I mean. I think it's back there, and it's actually quite blurry, and so is the 911. The number on the car and the text and everything is actually rather blurry, and I thought, well, that's a bit rubbish. So yeah, marks down there. I don't know what happened. I mean, I can't think of why that's happened. Mods have better textures than that when it comes to the fidelity and the actual resolution of the textures. So there you go. That's a downer. Sounds are okay. I mean, it sounds like a flat 6 engine, both inside and out. Inside, obviously, you can hear the transmission whine, all that kind of stuff, just like you get from a GT3 car. I don't have anything to really complain about on the sounds this time. I'm just trying to think, is there anything to complain? No. Obviously, naturally, you have a few sounds that aren't really brilliant, but again, I keep saying this is something Kunos need to work on, but it is what it is, and taking the sounds into account, this is a fairly decently sounding car. Again, not brilliant. I'm not going to say that GT3 cars are all brilliant. You can probably just hear in the background, you can hear the Mercedes AMG, the V8 of that. Such a distinctive noise. And you can also hear the Ferrari engines and the McLaren engines. But there you go. I like the fact that you've got all the different sounds. Pretty cool. Physics, yep. I think I'm gonna mess up this corner right here, trying to chase down that Porsche, thinking whatever he can do, I can match. I couldn't. I really couldn't. Oh no, I managed. Nope, yeah, this is the corner that I've just completely overcooked it, and that's going to allow that Ferrari to really catch up and close up massively, and it is going to overtake me. I can tell you that now. That Ferrari that I overtook on the first lap, well, that overtook me and then I re-overtook on the first lap, is going to finally overtake me. Right, physics. This car, because obviously it's got an engine right at the back, and it's a race car and it's got that much power and everything, it does suffer from understeer. There's nothing you can do about it. It really does suffer from understeer. And I felt it coming up to this this corner that we're going to be coming up to now as we go uphill. You really do feel the car unloading, and you do feel, you really feel the understeer. There you go, look, I am genuinely feeling understeer here. It's just not happening. And that, I suppose that's something that I've got to change in the setup. Obviously I'm driving this bone stock, no setup changes or anything. But you know, I felt that understeer. I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy this car. I was a lot more comfortable with the Ferrari, which is about to overtake me, I think. I was a lot more comfortable with that yellow Ferrari in front of me when I tested that out in the red pack, who does the same thing as the Porsche did, incidentally, which is kind of odd. So I was, a lot more comfortable with that car than I was with this Porsche, even though that car I was having issues with my steering wheel at the time, where it was just stupidly agile. But I still was a lot more comfortable. And of all the cars, as a Mercedes shoves me to the side, of all the cars, I think I've probably been the most comfortable with the McLarens, which is why I chose it when I was doing a few GT3 races. So there you go. Right, on to the last lap. Overall thoughts on this car? Well, like I said, I didn't entirely enjoy it. Maybe, you know, maybe I have to do a lot of setup changes. Maybe I'm just used to the different kind of balance on the car as opposed to what we're getting here. And I'm not really impressed with the textures on the outside. Whilst the inside is very nice and the modeling's nice and the sounds are okay, wasn't impressed with the textures on the outside. I'm gonna have to give this car another 8 out of 10. I'm knocking 1 off for the textures, and I'm knocking 1 off for the fact that I didn't like it. The modelling, again, you know, it's because the modelling and the physics are all very accurate. That's why these Porsches are getting such high ratings regardless. By default, they're getting all these high ratings. But, you know, at the end of the day, sometimes Porsches are not brilliant. I know I've been praising a lot of the Porsches lately, but sometimes they're just a little bit too difficult to drive for me, or it's just the kind of cars I don't prefer to drive. And this is definitely not my GT3 car of choice. As you can see, again, more understeer. With the McLaren, I could just power out of that, and you know, I would get oversteer as opposed to understeer. And you know, this one I was not getting that, although I did manage to get the apex of that corner quite nicely, so that's probably the first time this race I've done that. So I think I will end it there, because of course it is the last lap. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to hit the like button if you like this video, subscribe to the channel for more videos on Assetto Corsa, leave a comment in the comments box below letting me know what you think of this car and whether you agree with my 8 out of 10 rating. And please also do check out my Patreon page, link is in the description box below. I would really appreciate your support to continue creating great videos like this. Once again, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next episode.